Thanks for joining us live on Facebook and YouTube. Before we get started, let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. Community Trust Bank, Kimsoft, 22 Sweet Treats, CRC Renovations, Kentucky Realty Group, Jacobs Auto Body, and Brett Weehunt's Kentucky Farm Bureau in Frenchburg, our sponsor of the Athlete of the Month in Menifee County. While you're watching, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel and share this out with your friends so everybody can see our content. Tonight, joining us, we have the Montgomery County men's bowling coach, Leonard Littleton. He brought with him senior Noah Hall, junior Ronin Ingram, senior Kyra Hatfield, and junior Emma Setterstrom. Thank you all for joining us.
Hey, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm glad that you did the name because it would just been first names. I'm sorry. I would just been like, and joined by junior Emma.
No, we're good.
I know you are. So we have some of the bowling Indians with us tonight. So obviously we just got an introduction to your all's names. Let's talk a little bit about the season. Tell Coach, how's the season gone so far?
Yeah, the season was pretty good. The boys went undefeated in matches. Came up a little short at region, finished third there. And then Ronin finished sixth in state competition.
Nice.
Finished second at region, which qualified him for state, and then finished sixth there. The girls, I think, won as many matches as they lost, probably. Region also fell a little bit short. I think fourth. Is that what you all finished? Fourth?
Something like that.
Fourth in region. And then Emma actually qualified for the all-region team.
Nice.
And Ronin and Noah also had that honor for the boys' side as well.
Nice. Emma, are you still throwing the straight ball, or have you added a curve to it yet?
I've added a curve to it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Now, did the girls team get a new head coach this year?
They did.
Okay, so girls, how was that?
Well, I really liked it. It was definitely something different, not what we were used to with Miss Blair leaving. But I think we had a really fun season and enjoyed kind of getting to know someone new.
Well, cool. Same.
Yes, sir.
Going into the season, right, when Miss Blair first retired, there was like 4 or 5 returning bowlers, but I heard you all wound up with 12 or 13? Is that right? So you had several show back out. So next year doesn't look as bleak, right, because you're losing 2 more seniors because you're I can't think your cousin, I can't think of her name. Sierra is going as well. So what about the boys' side? How many seniors are you graduating over there?
There are 4 seniors leaving from the boys' side. Noah, Will Weathers, Devin Wright, and Ashton McCoy are all graduating. I think Noah's the only one continuing to bowl after high school that I know of. But we've got some middle schoolers that are showing good promise, so I like where we're going to be next year.
Nice. Well, speaking of continuing bowling afterwards, right? I was at the signing there. You signed with the Cumberlands, and just when our little bit of talk with that, they basically made you feel like that you were going home, right?
Yeah, I like that it was still in state, but that good enough, distance away from, here still, away from the parents a little bit. Everything was just like at the Cumberlands seemed beneficial financially and, bowling wise and academically even. So everything that I could have really asked out of a college, bowling team and school, it worked perfectly.
Nice.
So there aren't a whole lot of universities and colleges around that offer bowling as a sport, correct?
There's actually way more than you would.
Really?
think.
Okay.
There's
Well,
a lot.
I knew Lindsey Wilson has a bowling team, correct?
Yeah.
Now, what about your major schools? Kentucky, U of L, Western.
Your NCAA schools, right? Like those, some of the bigger ones won't really have them. And if they do, it's considered a club sport there. Okay. You're kind of looking at the NAIA schools, the ones that will offer scholarship money as, or offer scholarship money for bowling. Yeah. And they consider it an actual sport at their school. A lot of your bigger schools are NAIA schools. in bowling. You still have those NCAA schools like Wichita State, where it's still considered a club sport over there, but one of the best in the country.
Yeah. So, NAI schools, do you all compete in the Mid-South Conference? Like, is it like just like it is basketball and soccer and all the things?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
We compete in the Mid-South Conference. I'm still yet to learn everything about it since I haven't gone, but everything I've heard so far, it seems really cool, and I can't wait to get involved.
Okay, so let me follow that up with how competitive is Cumberland's? When you look in their conference.
In their conference, they've been pretty competitive, usually top 3. Pikeville's a really strong powerhouse in Kentucky, and hard to stop them. But we're really trying to build like the best team we can and develop the guys we have. We don't want to overcrowd the team. We don't want to have a lot of players like Pikeville. We want to keep it small and keep it strong.
Nice.
So that being said, going in as a freshman, do you anticipate playing on a regular basis as a freshman? Anywhere I would have went, even if the school was a lower level, I wouldn't, as a freshman, expect to bowl. I've always been kind of the development type. Whether I'm watching sports, like, man, why didn't they sit them freshman year? Like, I like to see development, and so to be a part of development would make me pretty happy. So I don't really expect a bowl, but if needed, I'm ready to perform. Right. Well, and the reason I asked that question is even in all of the sports, right? People have that entitlement to them now that they feel like, well, I'm coming to college, so I need to be playing immediately. But you're right. Like, sometimes a freshman needs to set, right? And just because it's bowling doesn't mean that your mental thought on, well, I'm coming in. I'm the rock star. I've got green hair, so I should be starting, right? Yeah. I'm just kidding. Well, everyone on that team at one point probably, everyone on that team was a freshman at one point. Yeah. Most likely, unless they're transfers, but was a freshman at one point in college, and they probably went through the same thing. So I'm kind of just preparing myself now for it. But like I said, if the time arises where I get to bowl, I'm not going to be afraid. Nice.
So you are the only other senior here. You're not bowling. So you are going to Georgetown.
I am.
What are you hoping to major in?
Nursing. I've always loved nursing, so I have committed to Georgetown and will be there in the fall for nursing.
Much better person than me. That's not something I could ever do, I don't think. So, let's talk to the juniors. Both of you are juniors. What are you hoping to, coming back as seniors, what do you hope you can bring to the team as a senior?
Probably, hopefully, just more consistency. Yeah. I'm trying to work on, stuff during the summer, so I don't get bad during the actual game time that we have. Okay. So
don't want that rust to build up, right?
Yeah.
Now, are you looking to bowl in college as well?
Maybe. It depends. I'd say if I get a really good offer. Yeah. Like what Noah got and stuff like that, then I'll probably consider.
And I know Noah. Me and you talked. They started looking kind of late on you, right? You were actually contacting coaches and sending your stuff out on that as well. So you never know. They're not always looking, I guess, at the juniors for the bowling like that. So you could literally get a commitment pretty late on that part.
So Emma, on the girls' side, what are you hoping, to come back as a senior next year? What are you hoping to bring to the team?
We're losing 2 of our seniors, so I'm hoping to bring a little bit of leadership so that we have some guidance to do better and to continue to improve.
Yeah. So do you have aspirations to maybe bowl at the next level?
I'm not sure. I'm just gonna try to continue to improve off season and just try to bring it for next season.
Okay. Are you still play softball too?
No, sir.
Okay. You did play softball though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir.
I thought you were a multi-sport. So
Noah, what is your major? What are you hoping to major in?
Accounting. I really like numbers, so
obviously you bowl. Numbers are important. At least up to 300.
At least up to 300. I think accounting, has kind of sparked my interest. Of course, it can always change when I get there.
Right.
But and it might change. But right now I'm looking at accounting, and past that, I feel like I'd have plenty of job opportunities with that major.
I think I changed majors, I don't know, 6 times or something. And then I just had to get out of school. So whatever I can do to get out of school. So, Coach, let's talk about, you talked about your middle school. You have middle schoolers. How early can a kid come out and join the bowling team?
So 7th grade is the cutoff for middle schoolers joining the high school team. We had, I think, 3 boys from middle school this year and at least 1 girl, maybe 2 from middle school. But my plan this summer is to host a summer camp through Sterling Lanes and hopefully pique that interest. And once I get those dates finalized, I'm hoping to go to the middle school specifically and announce and try to get interest. I think the more young people we can get in as early as possible and develop over the years, the better the team will be in the long run.
Well, and that leads to my next question. How would a kid go about getting involved in bowling?
Just come out, really. It's not a sport you have to be a super athlete to perform. There's fundamentals that are easily taught, and knowing the fundamentals will just make you a better bowler. And having your own equipment is a big thing too. So as part of the summer camp type atmosphere, we're hoping to get kids that come out equipped with equipment as part of that program.
Okay.
So, Coach, I know this was your second season. You replaced a guy that had coached here for a long time, right? And you're not in the school system, right?
I'm not.
So how in the world did you wind up taking this coaching job on? Now, I know your wife is connected to the bowling alley and stuff like that, but is that the connection or?
Well, it's kind of funny. I randomly at work one day was just sitting. I was like, I wonder if there's any coaching jobs available for bowling. And I Googled it and found KHSA's website, and there was actually an opening at Frederick Douglass. So I sent the athletic director there an email, sending my resume, filled out their application, and ultimately never heard back. And then I don't remember how I learned of the coach opening. I think maybe Jack had told me. Jack McGuire was a senior that graduated last year. His stepdad is my best friend, so I've known Jack since he was yay high. And so when I found that out, I sent an email to Austin Maples, the athletic director, giving my interest for the job. And luckily, he and I graduated high school together, so he knew me. I think it was just a perfect storm of things that allowed me. I don't know if there were any other applicants. I think I might have been the only applicant, so pretty lucky in that regard, too.
I was going to say, we'll just say there was 100 applicants and you were the best one.
Well, and I mean, I've bowled with you, so I know you're a good bowler, and you obviously like molded into the role of being able to train the kids and teach them and stuff like that. And of course, Caitlin, my daughter, she bowled for a couple of years, and she's come to some of the matches this year, and she's I know you're working not only with the boys, but you're working to help develop the girls too, because the ladies coach isn't like a seasoned bowler, right? So you guys are kind of working together on that part of it. So I mean, that's awesome to do that part as well. I was close to being the girls coach. I had applied for it, and then common sense woke up and told me that you don't have enough time to run a business, run a podcast, and run a bowling team. So I gracefully bowed out on that part of it. There's just not enough time because you're at the bowling alley sometimes 6 nights a week, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you bowl on the weekends.
That was actually one of the insights that the new coach had, is she didn't realize how much time absolutely we went into. We practiced 3 days a week for 2 hours, and the way that I did scheduling this year, matches were not on practice days, so that was an additional day of bowling. And then we tried to enter as many tournaments as we could on the weekends. So there were several weeks where we had practice Tuesday, practice Wednesday, match Thursday, practice Friday, bowling tournament on Saturday. And it does equate to a lot of time as far as traveling to the tournaments and then actually putting in the practice time.
And it's a long season, too, because you start tryouts in October and you don't wrap up until January, right?
Right.
So, yeah, it's a long season.
So, locally in this area, who's like the bowling powerhouse?
So for our region, we're one of the biggest regions in the state. We have all the Eastern Kentucky schools as far out as Pikeville, Johnson Central. I considered a big three this year, and we were third of the big three. But Boyle County is always really good. They're always churning out, young talent. And Johnson Central is really good. They graduated 10 seniors last year, and they were still, they won our region and made it to the second round of state after graduating 10 bowlers. Those are the two big powerhouses in our region.
And I know that the Boyle County team on the girls' side is always, really good as well.
Yeah,
and they have them, they're just churning out from middle school all the way up.
Yep. Yeah, I think it does help for schools that have bowling centers in their county. And Boyle, of course, has the lanes that they're at Danville Bolorama. I think youth leagues are just where it's at as far as getting interested bowlers out on the high school team, and they just have a plethora of kids that are available for that.
Bowling seems like that it's kind of become popular again. Is that? Do you get that? Because I feel like for the longest time it was just dead.
No, I think it is. I think there was a big surge during COVID. Just I think the PBA is getting more exposure. On Fox for several of their shows, and then FS1 on other shows. But I think the popularity is increasing. New bowling balls are coming out, and that gets people interested. And when a new bowler can get a hook on the ball and just see the ball hook into the pins, I think it creates sort of an addiction, maybe, of just that feel of hooking a bowling ball. So I think it's growing in popularity for sure.
Any hook I've ever put on a bowling ball has totally been accidental, and which. Usually when it hooks right into the
gutter.
Yeah, it just.
Yeah, the good part about it is now they make bowling balls that'll do the hooking for you if you can throw it straight.
Let's see, therein lies another problem.
Right, throwing it straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's ask. I'm always interested. What's your high score? All-time high score?
A 231.
231.
245.
245.
290.
290. Well, he's just like 290. You couldn't knock down the other 10 pins? What's going on, son?
298.
298?
Yes.
I was there that night. I remember
You
that.
were there that night.
Oh, my gosh. It was
So
so close.
That was very sad.
So when we talked about 300, 298, you're almost there. Like, when did you lose the 300, like the chance at 300?
The very last shot. Yeah, it was tough. But, I was still really new. We were bowling at Fleming County. And, I hit the pocket, 11 times, so couldn't really complain. I had 11 strikes.
That was with a $5 Goodwill Bowl?
Oh, yes. So Fleming County, I don't want to, hate on their bowling alley, but they can scuff up your equipment. And I was like, I don't want to bring any of my stuff there, my bowling balls. And so I went to Goodwill, and I found a $5 bowling ball.
Bowled at 298.
It was an Ebonite Gyro Blue, I think. And I had Tyler drill it, hit plug and re-drill it, and get my grips fit in, and just somehow wound it up shooting 298 at Fleming County.
That's funny.
Well, Coach, what's your high score?
I have a 300 in practice, but outside of that, ones that are actually sanctioned and count, I think 279. 289. 289 is my highest.
So Sean was talking about, you're a really good bowler. How long have you been involved with bowling? How long have you been bowling?
I think I started bowling when I was in my early 20s. I'm in my mid-30s now, so probably 10 years or so. And I ironically picked the sport up just so I could have something to beat my friends in. Yeah. Just, hey, y'all want to go bowling? Sure. And then I win that. So that was the main motivation for me beginning to bowl.
Yeah. What about you guys? How did you get into bowling?
My sophomore year, I quit football because I kicked for GRC for my freshman year. And
Go Cards.
Yeah, right. I was going to come back out my sophomore year, and the kid was just, good. The other kicker, he just went nuts over summer and came out. He's like, yeah, I just started practicing. It was fun. And I was like, dude, you're, really good. And so I was just like, man, I don't know if this is ever going to be for me.
Yeah.
Even though I really enjoyed it. And so eventually I heard there was bowling tryouts, and there was a meeting that I went to, and it seemed really fun. I really enjoyed bowling in general. Mm-hmm. And so once I found out that there was so much to do with it, I kind of just it didn't stop, and it was nonstop bowling for the next, well, till now. I mean, I haven't bowled less than 3 times a week since. Yeah. Like it's been nonstop.
All right, how did you get into bowling?
Well, my brother, he got me into it. He used to bowl on the team, and so that's how I got into it.
Okay.
One of my old friend's sisters actually was on the bowling team, and this was when she was like a sophomore and I was in 7th grade. So I was like, I mean, I don't really have anything else to do, so why not,
Right.
Try something different.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have been bowling ever since.
Nice.
I heard about it on Facebook, and I moved here 8th grade, but it was virtual, so I didn't have any friends, and I thought it'd be a good way to make friends, and I didn't know it'd lead to this, actually being more involved in it. I just did it for fun.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, I really like these sports, because there's no real definition of what a bowler has to look like. I mean, in a lot of sports, basketball, football, bigger, faster, stronger. And that's not, you don't have to look a certain way to bowl. So, how can we use that as a community? And because we got kids that don't really want to play football, they don't want to play baseball, they don't want to play basketball, which is why, bass fishing and esports and bowl, all these sports are becoming so popular. What can we do as a community, you think, to help increase awareness about these athletic teams and how kids can get involved?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure what the exact answer is, but I think, the summer camp I did, just getting people to know, we heard from multiple of the kids just now that they learned about it from somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
So just being able to pass along the word that there is a bowling team. I've heard people even to this day say, I didn't even realize Montgomery County had a bowling team. And, just getting the information out that it exists and that anybody can do it, I think is step one.
And the crazy part about it is it's not a small bowling team, right? I mean, we're like one of the bigger bowling schools in this area, but like you said, we have a bowling alley. And I think a lot of that, I remember, talking to one of the Corbin parents at one of the tournaments. They don't have a bowling alley. They have to drive to Tennessee or to Richmond to practice. And they only get to do that once a week. And I'm like, how the heck does that work? I mean, that's you talk about dedication. You got to drive 2 hours just to practice.
Yeah.
So,
I spoke with several coaches this season and just realized how blessed we are in Montgomery County that the school pays for all the practices. There are several coaches that pay for practice out of pocket, being a coach. And, one of the teams we bowled this year, Franklin County, I think it was.
Yep.
Said that they get 2 practices a week when they're doing tryouts and getting the team together, and then it goes down to 1 practice a week or maybe a month. It was something crazy that they didn't get the amount of practice time that other teams likely get, basketball, baseball, so on and so forth. So we are blessed in Montgomery County to have as much practice time as we do and support from the school itself.
I mean, that kind of seems like a slap in the face. It's like if we're going to be a sanctioned sport, at least treat us like we're an actual sport. We're not just some ragtag bunch of people.
Here's some shirts. Write your name on the back of it.
Write your name on the back of it, and we're going to let you practice once a month. All right. I want you to be good now, or we're going to fire you. So we've heard talk about league play and stuff. How important is it for your bowlers or any bowler to be involved with a league to get that extra practice in?
No, I think it's the most important thing. Having experiences in bowling is the only way to get better. Some of the best bowlers on the team got better with their practice outside of practice. They come in on their own time. They use the fundament or the drills and the things that we teach in practice in their own time, and that's how they improve the most. I have never seen somebody improve at the rate Noah did from his junior year to his senior year, and it's just because he went in and put the time in. So bowling leagues, bowling tournaments, getting that exposure is ultimately the best way to get better.
And I mean, with the leagues, you can get yourself into situational type things, right? Pressure shots or something like that. Because I mean, you're ultimately trying to win as a team, right? So you can get yourself into to situations where I gotta have a strike here. Or,
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And the other caveat is, in those kind of settings, bowling's a very open community, I think, and ultimately, the more people that are good at bowling, the better you're going to be, as your opponents are better, right? So, a lot of bowlers in league are willing to share knowledge that they've gained over the years and help new bowlers develop skills that took them several years to develop. So there's just all kinds of dynamics just with joining a league.
look, I tell you, when Darren and we bowled there for several years on the Monday Night League, and ultimately it came down to a choice of do we bowl or do we do the podcast, and so most of the time we do this on Monday nights, but sometimes Tuesdays just has to be the time. But the one thing that we could always say is we kind of like Kentucky. We played to our competition. So if the competition was bad, we bowled bad. If the competition was good, we bowled good. So we called ourselves for a long time the LW inconsistencies, because we were as extremely inconsistent as possible. So, but we always had fun doing that, and I miss doing it. But there's only so much time in the week.
So, how much? And this is a question for all five of you. How much of bowling is a mental game?
A lot of bowling is a mental game. I would say 65 or more % is mental. There's just so many things. You throw a good shot that doesn't strike. Do you get mad? Do you miss your spare? It's just the biggest thing is your mental game.
You're focused on that one spot, and you walk up there and you throw it over there instead of right there.
I try to read what the screen tells me to do all the time, and it always lies to me. But we were talking about your dang near 300 game. Let's say that happens in the 7th frame, and you got 6 straight strikes in a row. You only knocked down 8 pins. That could really mess with you moving forward, right? Because you're like, man, what did I do different?
It could. It definitely does when you're on that streak. It's like, man, why did I do that?
Yeah.
But you got to think about it, just clean up your spare, because you still got a good game going. And with Ronin, he went 9 spare first frame. This was at state, his high game. He went 9 spare first frame and then struck out. You know what I'm saying? He just went, plus 190, or plus 90, sorry, because he finished his game out and didn't let it get to him.
Yeah.
If you finish your game out with your spares and just make good shots from then on, you're going to be fine. You're going to be completely fine.
So the mental aspect, how do you feel about the mental aspect?
I'd say for me, it doesn't really affect me that much. I'd say in the very beginning of the game, if you do really bad, that'll affect your end score. But if you have a really good game going on and you leave a split or whatever, and you don't pick it up, or you don't pick a spare, then it doesn't really affect me, because I already know that I'm going to bowl a good game.
Yeah.
But I'd say if you do really bad in the beginning, it's going to miss your oncoming games too. So.
Well, so you get the 7-10 split. I don't try to knock them both down. I just have to pick one of them. I'm gonna just try to get that one. How you all do it blows my mind. I don't know. So, Kyra, what about you? How the mental aspect on the ladies' side?
I definitely think that there's a huge mental aspect to bowling, because especially whenever I was in middle school, I hadn't really understood how big of a thing mental aspect was in bowling. And so I'd get so frustrated whenever I'd throw a bad ball or just a bad game in general. But over the years, I've kind of learned hey, if I get upset, then I'm not gonna bowl my best.
Right.
So I just kind of have to calm myself down, take a minute, and then just bowl the best I can after that.
Right, Emma.
Every game I'd hear it from Kyra. She would say, if you don't think you're going to get it, you're not going to get it.
Right.
So you have to have that confidence. And so it is a mental game more than physical, in my opinion.
So, Coach, you had talked about drills. When I think of bowling, I don't think of drills that you can do. So, explain to me that aspect. What kind of drills may you have your team doing in practice?
Yeah, so there's a ton of drills that could be done, but the ones that we typically do, a foul line drill focuses on the release and posting the shot. When you finish your release, you want to be, it's tall and balanced, so it works on that. We do a 3-step drill, which also helps with the release and posting the shot, but it also helps with timing. Every step in bowling, your arm swing should be doing a certain thing, so when you slow down those steps into the foul line and then a 3-step, it just helps reiterate those things. And then we shoot a lot of spares, just setting up specific pins, and that's all we shoot at for that practice. Those are the main kind of drills that we do on a consistent basis, but there are several others we could be doing.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Can you, like, Sean was talking about situations, so can you, like, mimic those in practice? So, like, you can have the pin set up to be a 7-10 split that you have to work on?
Absolutely, which we don't practice making splits because in addition to it being pretty luck-based, you can throw a ball perfectly to make a split and not make the split. So that's not our focus. We care more about the pins that you should be making your spares with, like the single pins. When there's just one pin standing after your first ball, it's the easiest spare in bowling to make, and we miss a lot of them. So practicing those. Yep. And when you really think about it, if you watch a lot of professional bowling, those guys don't strike every frame. So what I try to teach and what we try to work on the most is being a better spare shooting team than the teams that we're bowling against. And oftentimes that's the difference in winning and losing is one single spare.
Well, and I mean that same focus you brought in last year, and you guys wound up finishing runner-up in state because you were hitting a lot of those spares, right? I mean, that was a focus that you brought into it, and because I mean one pin, can be the difference. I mean, look, that one pin for Ronin was the difference in a 290 and a 300. If he strikes that first frame, you're looking at a 300, right?
Absolutely.
So, spares are, and that's the hardest part. I mean, I swear, getting strikes is easy compared to the spares.
Speak for yourself.
Sean's was a 5-pin.
What?
Sean's was the 5-pin.
Yeah. Well.
I made him go up to the bowling alley for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And made him shoot at nothing but the 5-pin.
For like 100 shots.
Yeah.
I didn't miss the 5-pin anymore after that, though.
So, just out of curiosity, and I want you all to answer this one. What's the hardest shot that you think in bowling?
Spare-wise?
Any-wise. I have no clue. You could make something up at this point, and I wouldn't know.
So, I've really started cracking down on my spares, but definitely still inconsistent on them, or not as consistent as I should be. I hate shooting my corner pins, but I force myself to. Combination spares just suck, and I suck at them most times. My 3-6-10s are hard, which I don't believe you know what that is.
No, I don't. I'm just nodding like I do.
It's the 3 down the side that just runs back to the corner. That's a very difficult spare.
It's the hardest, simplest thing to hit for me, and I can't. I get frustrated, but I sit there for 2 hours, maybe a day, just shooting a certain spare. So I've taken a lot of focus on that one.
Yeah. All right, Ronin?
I'd say the hardest spare for me would be the 3-6 9-10. I can't really pick up that 9-10, and it's just, for me, I think it's just luck based at that point. But I've missed so many of those in practice and in games, and it's ruined my games. So that's the hardest one for me.
10 pins. I hate 10 pins. I've always hated 10 pins. They make or break my game, because usually if I'm hitting my pocket but I'm not getting a spare, it's a 10 pin that's left, and I've never been great at those.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to go with the 10 pin as well. I went to a bowling alley yesterday as well, and I missed all my 10 pins. So, yeah.
At least you were consistent, though. You were consistently missing your 10 pin. Coach, what about you?
Yeah, it's probably a combination like Noah was talking about. I'm left-handed, so the left side version of the spares that he was referencing are troublesome for me. The 247.
I was trying to figure out what the pin numbers were in my head just now.
Very easy to chop. So yeah, that's it. Ideally, you're only leaving one. Like if you're throwing the ball good, you're only leaving one pin, and those are pretty easy to pick up. Theoretically.
In theory, it should be very easy to pick up.
So one of the things Sean always got on to me about was my ritual. When you walk up to the line, go down the line. What is your pre-ball ritual?
So my pre-bowl ritual is I pick the ball up with 2 chamois. I have one in each hand, and I rub it with both hands. And then I'll put one of them down, and then I'll rub it or spin it into one in my hand 5 times. And then I will get lined up to where I'm standing with my feet. I will look at the pins, bring my eyes back to the arrows, and then deep breath, and then go.
No.
I kind of just started, getting into that groove of the, pre-shot ritual because it's really important, like we were talking about mental games. So I like to have my chamois in my left hand, pick my ball up, wipe my ball down. And then when I get lined up, I like to, in the back of my head, scream relax. So I can focus I can just focus all my muscles on every single part of my swing that I need to worry about. And then I take a very deep breath and I go.
Ronin?
Mine is just picking my ball up with my chamois in the right hand, and I clean it off, and then I always have to touch the air that comes out of the ball return, and I get lined up. That's it.
I always have to wipe my ball off with my right hand with my towel, and then I always have to make sure my feet are like perfectly in line, or I just can't do it. So I always make sure they're lined up, and then I just go on.
I just slide my foot, and then I bend my knees twice, and then I throw it.
Like I just grip it and rip it.
Grip it.
Just as hard as I can at one of the pins.
It's really funny how you kind of do develop that little, ritual. I mean, it just kind of happens. It's kind of funny on that. I remember Sam. There was a guy we used to bowl with on Monday nights. That dude take off walking without his fingers in the ball. He put his fingers in the ball on the way to the approach. And I'm like, how the heck do you do that? He's like, I just have always done that. It always cracked me up on that. So
See, mine that I always got laughed at is it serves zero purpose, but I blow the thumb hole out. There's nothing in it. Nothing comes out when you blow. But if I don't blow on the thumb hole, it throws your whole shot off. And then my grip is so wide, I only use to that first knuckle. So I got to sit there and put my fingers in and pull them out and get them just perfect. And right as they feel perfect, that's when you step off.
I'm thinking to myself, it's a good thing that you scream in the back of your mind, because if you just screamed out, relax real loud, and everybody be looking at you like, I'm telling myself to relax, all right? Just
calm down. You relax.
Relax. I'm just relaxing.
I was Ronin. I was yelling at Ronin at one of our tournaments. I wanted his ball to push down lane, go a little farther down lane, because it was going to check up. There's a kid standing right in front of me from another team. And I think I said, I yelled, move. I yelled like really loud, and the kid was really, really concerned. He was scared, and I couldn't feel worse.
So, well, listen, I don't know about Sean. He is a bowling expert, but I learned a lot about bowling. I knew that it was a ball. There were 10 pins, and you knock as many down as you got. I didn't know there were drills and rituals.
You did know that 300 was the maximum.
I did know that.
And 0 is the minimum.
Sure. And I'm really good with the bumpers. That's the third thing I know.
That's a good thing if you have the young kids, right?
And,
and
we're
going to need them bumpers.
Right. And you missed that conversation. They still usually beat me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. So, well, guys, thank you all for coming in and visiting with us tonight. And we like to try to get all the different groups and sports on here. That we kind of waited until after the season because, like I said, you guys already are dedicated, several nights a week. So we want to try to get you after the season. Congrats on a great season. Noah, good luck at Cumberland's. Kyra, good luck at Georgetown.
Nursing.
Yeah. But we do thank you for coming on with us. So, guys, there you have it for this week's edition of Community Trust Bank Coaches Corner, presented by the From Corner to Corner podcast. If you haven't already, go out and give us a like on Facebook and a subscribe on YouTube. Remember to help us promote our Coaches Corner show and our KimSoft Athletes of the Week program. And in Menifee County, our Brett Weehunt's Kentucky Farm Bureau Athletes of the Month program. We do what we do for our community and the surrounding communities. Our teams, our coaches, and our students, they all deserve it. Catch you guys next week.
Stay safe, friends. Look at that.
2 minutes to
6:29.
spare.
Pretty good.
That clock is the most helpful thing in the world. It kind
Well, so last week it was hid, and I'm like, oh, crap, I can't see what time it is. So, well, awesome, guys. Well, if you want to donate that $5 bowling ball, we'll hang it on the wall. No.
Sure.
I need some stronger studs.
Yeah, how's that?
That's a pretty remarkable story that you went and bought a $5 bowling ball.
I do.
It's like, let's just do this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. And I was like, dude, this would be so good because I can throw it at Fleming County because I don't want to throw anything else.
I didn't know you purchased it just for that
Yeah.
match. I
Yeah,
just
no.
thought you saw it and bought it.
No, I was like, dude, Fleming County, $5. I was like,
So it's that bad up there, huh?
hey, yeah, it's not
It is Fleming County.
Yeah.
great. It's not great.
I guess Jeff still bowls up there.
So when did
He bowls up
you
there 2 nights.
change from GRC to MOCO?
After my sophomore year. So I came here my junior year, and then I'm graduating.
They pay me every 2 weeks, so
What do you do for them?
I'm a school teacher.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh. Has it got any better?
I'm in RDC, but the high school has gotten better.
Who's the principal now?
Luke Toy,
At GRC?
Mhm.
I know that at a...
Jason Kincaid.
Oh, I know that name.
He might have been the past coach whenever you were there.
At where?
Did you go to RDC?
Yeah.
So he was probably the past coach
For
at RDC.
football?
No, like the behavior coach. He'd
Oh.
walk around and help with the bad kids.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The name just sounds so familiar.
Luke Toy's the head principal at GRC?
He is.
Cool.
Yep.
I thought he was
I
just an
didn't know
assistant.
he was assistant here, right?
He was assistant here, and then he followed Dustin over to GRC. I mean to Clark, and he's the head principal at GRC.
Cool.
So.
I always liked Dustin Howard.
Mm-hmm.
I was good friends with his kid. It sucked hearing he wasn't going to come here.
He was here for about 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here long enough to buy a bunch of Montgomery County polos, and then got offered a job to go back to Clark. And I used to tell him all the time, I was like, you're going to mess it up on announcements, and you're going to say, "Go Cards," and you're going to get booed out of the school.
Yeah.
So
He didn't really have to worry about that.
he never did an announcement because he left before then. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you all again for
Thanks for having us.
coming in.
No problem. Hey, Coach, or you all sign our thing over here.
For sure.
Sean, you want to do
We
this?
started our new ritual. It's kind of like you suck.
Well, I was there
That's
for
our old school first logo that we had.
in Menifee County. Yes.
What is it? Yeah, we do that. No one ever told me.
Well, they listed 2 or 3 different things.
Oh. Yeah, we'll
Cheerleader's gonna be dog of the week. It's either Savannah or Luke.
It should be Luke. We'll
Doing 1,000 points.
yeah.
And I go, Luke. And I am
Go
gonna fall.
13.
Before y'all go, we'll grab a picture.
13.
Sure.
Sure, it's not cool.
Here you go. I got you something.
Oh, thanks.
Saw that at the store. Well, I saw that at the store and I bought it for you. In my store, I mean, it was over here on the shelf. So that way, when you all do something and become famous, like like you're a famous nurse or something, like I remember when she was here.
Yep.
Is it back to my pick yet?
No. Waiting on that.
You get on me smalls.
Well, I mean, he's doing live, but he ain't gonna be making no picks until them games are over with, or at least in between the games.
They're just doing senior night stuff.
Text Wes and say, ask Neil or Adam what pick he wants,
Right.
and we'll make his pick for him.
Darren,
All right, so let's line up here on this back wall here, and then we'll take a picture.
And then we'll let you get the heck out of here.
Yep. You want on the other end?
Sure.
I'll stand over here by my BFFs, Emma and Kyra.
Well, Coach, we can be BFFs.
That works for me. One, two, three.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Thank you guys.
Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Good luck, you guys. Good to see you, bud. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. Matches your shirt.
Matches my personality, Sean. Sean Z.
Hungry.
I told you all you had to do was tell me to get Crystal.
Man, I tell you, it's tough. It is freaking tough.